So I'm going to get my caveat in here before JJ starts timing. Hopefully she's doing the scores. So if you're watching this later on video and you have a child in the room with you, you may want to listen to it before you listen to it with the child, okay? So anyway, I used to golf when I was in high school. I was not a very good golfer. I was very much a duffer. And I always try to get everybody to agree to have a mulligan. Do you know what a mulligan is when you're golfing? Yeah, everybody gets a mulligan, and you do a bad shot. You say, that's my mulligan. You get a do-over, like you just erased that shot. So back in 27 years ago, I was teaching a second and third grade combination class. And I was supposed to teach them about latitude and longitude. And I was supposed to get them so that they knew we were at 40 degrees north latitude and 76 degrees west longitude, and to understand about the equator and the prime meridian, and that the latitudes are flat lats and the longitude looked like a pumpkin. And for second and third graders, it's hard enough just to understand the world is round, let alone knowing exactly where you are on that globe. And so I'm standing up in front of the class with this large globe, looking at all the lines, talking about them. And the cool thing is all the longitude lines intersect at the North Pole and the South Pole. So I'm saying, so we climbed up from the equator 10, 20, 30 degrees of latitude all the way up to 90 degrees of latitude. And all the longitude lines meet up there. And then I did one of those really dumb things that, it's only dumb in hindsight. I said, so here's the North Pole on the equator. And if there was a Santa Claus, there isn't a Santa Claus, but if there was a Santa Claus, I know, Santa Claus would be right here at the North Pole. And I didn't even think anything about it. I just went on teaching about latitude and longitude. And at the end of the day, I got a phone call. The phone call had first gone to the principal. And the principal said, had you talked to Mr. Yoder? And the parent hadn't. Boy, I got an earful. I'll call her M. M came home. Now, M was this wonderful child. If she would have had pointed ears, she would have been the perfect little elf. She had curly golden hair and blue eyes, and trying to hold M's attention was like trying to hold water in your hand. She was such an inquisitive little child, and everything was interesting. And I don't know what she learned about latitude and longitude that day, but that day she learned there was no Santa Claus. And her mom was mad. And I wished I had a mulligan. I'd have used it. I apologized. I mean, I can't take it back. I apologized. The next day I went into the faculty room and I said, this happened, and I thought the teachers would be commiserating with me. You say things and you don't think about it. And, oh, man, they just jumped all over me. Laura Parmalee told about how when she was growing up, her dad on Christmas Eve would climb up on the roof and stomp around on the roof, and then he would drop horse droppings that he had collected down at wherever on the roof. So the next morning when the kids woke up, they'd see the footprints in the snow and the horse droppings up there on the roof. And, I mean, they just let me have it. How could I have been so whatever and ruin this poor child's life? Later then, 10 years later, 12 years later, when the Intelligencer Journal had gone online, I was nominated to be Teacher of the Month. A former student had nominated me, Kathy Lewick, and did this wonderful write-up about me. And then they sent a newspaper reporter and photographer out, took our picture together. Kathy was in high school. And you could make comments about the articles online. M's mother wrote, "He might have been a good teacher, but he told my daughter there is no Santa Claus." And then everybody was piling on. Sometimes you just wish, those oops moments, you just wish life gave you a... There you go.